Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Spacing Out. I'm Jason McClellan.
And I'm Maureen Elsberry. Thanks for joining us.
We are finally back after being away for several weeks. All of us Open Minds were busy taking care of the 2014 International UFO Congress, and we recently moved offices, so we had to wait for the studio to be finished, but we're happy to be back so we can get you caught up on some of the space and UFO stories that have made headlines recently.
Radar at the Indian Air Force, or IAF, Halwara Air Base detected a UFO moving towards India's border with Pakistan sometime a couple weeks ago.
According to the IAF, an Su-30 MKI fighter jet was scrambled from Halwara Air Base to intercept the unidentified craft. The Economic Times reports that the slow-moving UFO, flying at 28,000 feet, was strangely determined to be nothing but a weather balloon that was flying with the wind toward the border and it returned from there after being airborne for around 20 minutes.
Media reports also suggest that during its attempt to intercept the UFO, the fighter jet came dangerously close to two civilian planes in the area. But according to the Economic Times, the IAF denies any near-miss incident took place. Still, India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation, DGCA, is investigating the incident.
In late 2012, the Indian Army investigated reports of more than 100 UFOs along India's border with China. Although some news reports asserted that the UFOs had been identified as Chinese sky lanterns, the last official word was that the objects were still being investigated and remain unidentified.
There are cell phone applications for just about everything, and unfortunately, there is no shortage of apps that enable users to add UFOs and aliens to photos. One of these photo apps, Camera 360, was responsible for several hoax photos that made headlines in 2013.
Mobile product company Picadillic released a new app titled FX Guru, Movie FX Director, that enables users to add special effects to videos on their phones. The company describes that one of the app's many features is the ability to astound friends by filming a UFO invasion over your backyard.
Although apps like this can be amusing, they also inevitably cause problems because there are always unscrupulous individuals trying to pass these created photos and videos as legitimate evidence of UFOs or extraterrestrials.
It is important for people to familiarize themselves with current technology like these apps, so hopefully they will be better positioned to distinguish videos created with these apps from genuine videos that merit legitimate research.
Once again, the Science Channel reprised its popular extraterrestrial-themed Are We Alone Week.
As previous years have demonstrated, the Science Channel does an incredible job packing the first week of March with highly entertaining and provocative shows exploring UFOs and extraterrestrial life. As the network explains, this March, Science Channel returns with its programming event dedicated to one of mankind's most pressing questions with Are We Alone?, a week-long campaign dedicated to satisfying viewers' appetites for aliens. Science Channel's Executive Vice President and General Manager, Debbie Meyer, states, "So many people are obsessed with the existence of aliens. Are We Alone ignites their imaginations with bold new questions and engages current research happening in the field of extraterrestrial life. It's programming that asks questions and makes you think. We hope Are We Alone advances the conversation even further."
The week of alien and UFO programming began on Sunday, March 2nd, with new episodes of NASA's Unexplained Files. Other new programs, like the series Close Encounters, aired during the week. And Morgan Freeman's Through the Wormhole, which has been featured in previous years, also returned to Are We Alone Week.
The show Uncovering Aliens, featuring my co-host Maureen Elsberry, was also featured during the week. The Science Channel partnered with Open Minds to premiere some of these shows at the 2014 International UFO Congress, where they were well received.
Amateur astronomer Charles Lamoureux recorded video of a UFO over Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada, on Friday, February 28th.
The sighting reportedly occurred at 8:44 p.m. over the area of Cypress Provincial Park in North Vancouver. And as the website Unknown Country explains, Lamoureux was able to record the UFO with 3 different cameras.
The witness referenced the website Heavens Above to eliminate the possibility that the UFO was simply a satellite. Lamoureux uploaded his video to YouTube, and in the video's description, he explains, "I must have seen over a dozen in an hour descend exact same area, some flashing faster, but this one was so bright, for sure there were more witnesses."
Although he's willing to entertain the idea that the UFO was a satellite, Lamoureux believes that it would have to be a spy unknown or space junk, but it was really moving way too slow at the onset. And I agree with him. This is an interesting video because when at the beginning of the video we see the object moving, it does move kind of at a slow, steady pace like a satellite would. But then it stops and hovers, pretty much. And satellites don't do that.
Right, and I got to give him credit because he did one of the most important things, and that is he checked out Heavens Above.
Yeah, that's such an important step.
What was in the sky at the time. I will say that there are a couple other sort of identifications that maybe don't match 100% to his, but some of his videos do look like oncoming airplanes. We see that in the Phoenix area a lot, and they look crazy, like slow-moving, bright dots in the sky. Not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that there's a few other objects that we need to sort of rule out.
And I think some of his previous videos have been that and shown to be airplanes. But it is good, again, I mean, we really encourage people to use resources like Heavens Above to look for satellites that are scheduled to be in the air at that time. And granted, not everything in space is going to be on there,
right,
as
indeed.
he said. But then there's the issue with the Indian Air Force jet that was scrambled. And this is an interesting story to me because they seem to jump on the identification of weather balloon pretty fast. And it seems kind of odd that they would scramble a jet and kind of freak out about a weather balloon. I would think they'd be able to identify it a little faster or better than needing to scramble a jet to identify what it was. But then you have the issue of these reported near misses, where the jets were really, seemingly flying aggressive and flying in airspace where they shouldn't be to try to get to this thing.
Yeah,
I think they would only do that when they thought something was seriously a matter. There was a dangerous object in the area.
Immediate risk, yeah. So that is scary because obviously civilian air flights could end in disaster. And I think this is funny too because this isn't the only time we hear about Air Force intercepting UFOs. In fact, we talked about this back in, I believe, October, when the Iranian Air Force put out that magazine that said that they were using F-14s to intercept UFOs on a constant basis. And again, they jumped to the conclusion that they were U.S. drones,
Right.
which also seemed a little odd.
Yeah. Odd conclusion. So don't know what's going on there, but hopefully we hear more about it. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we just wrapped up the 2014 International UFO Congress, and at the IUFOC, our friend Lee Speigel from the Huffington Post was able to sit down with a couple of the speakers for in-depth interviews.
Thanks, Jason and Maureen. It's been great to be at the conference. I think it was one of the best conferences in many years, and really diverse type of people and topics. I mean, there was a whole mixture of amazing things, but more important, I felt that there were scientists at the conference, and you don't often find real scientists at UFO conferences. And the first one who I interviewed was Dr. Jeffrey Bennett, and he's one of the leading proponents of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And we talked a lot about how so many planets have been discovered in the last few years that give scientists a lot of hope that within a couple or a few decades, we here on Earth will be able to actually establish evidence that there is at least life on other planets, and hopefully, we're all hoping that they'll come up with intelligent life. If we do discover, if the discovery does happen in our lifetimes or in someone else's lifetime of an ancient or a continuing civilization, intelligent civilization, either at our level or beyond our level, what would be the implication to us here on Earth?
I think it's a very good question, and of course it's hard to know exactly what it would mean to us. But to me, the subtitle of my book is The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence and its Astonishing Implications to Our Future. And the reason I think the implications are so astonishing is because no matter what the answer is, you find learning our place relative to other possible species is a key thing. And in particular, what you find when you analyze this question is that whether or not we're being visited, probably, just as Frank Drake said a long time ago, comes down to the question of, can species survive? We reach a point in our technology where we are today where we're on the verge of having the technology that will allow us to begin to move out into space, but that same technology gives us the power to wipe out our civilization. And so the question is, can we get past this point? And we don't know. We don't know if others have. If we got a signal from someone else, that would essentially tell us, you know what? It's possible. You can get past this bottleneck of history and make it into a future. And I think just knowing that someone else has done it would make it easier for us to survive and solve our problems as well.
I also had a chance to talk with Richard Hoover, who was with NASA for over 40 years, had received the NASA Inventor of the Year award at one point, and he's very controversial because he not only believes that there is evidence of possible life outside of Earth, but he told me an amazing story.
Here you have a possible fossil of a very interesting organism in a rock on Mars, and 3 hours and a half after that photograph was done, that rock was destroyed by the rock abrasion tool, at least the area where the fossil was located. I should say possible fossil.
The rock was destroyed?
The area where the possible fossil was located was ground to dust using the rock abrasion tool.
Well, the conference here was great, and Jason and Maureen and Alejandro, the co-organizers of the event, just a little piece of advice. Next year, you probably need to get a bigger place because the attendance here, people were standing room only in some of these events, which means there's amazing interest out there, and it's because you present the most diverse topics that are related in some ways to UFOs. And so I'm proud to be part of this. I'm proud to know you guys. And if you do this again next year, and I'm sure you will, please invite me back.
I don't know about that.
Well, I think we already sent the invite, so it must have gotten lost in the mail. Well, anyway, thanks, Lee, and that is all for this episode of Spacing Out. Remember to visit our website, openminds.tv, for all the latest news. And if you're a podcast listener, go to openminds.tv/radio and check out Open Minds UFO Radio.
Make sure to click on the like button if you enjoyed today's episode, and subscribe to our channel so you know when we post new content. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Maureen Elsberry.
And I'm Jason McClellan. We will see you in the future.
If you have a UFO sighting or something you would like to report to Open Minds, you can go to our website at openminds.tv and click the contact button to send us your request. Or you can email us at contact@openminds.tv. You can also call us at 1-877-UFO-0110. That's 1-877-836-0110.